I give the CIA a total credit for sponsoring and initiating the entire consciousness movement, counterculture events of the 1960s.
Welcome to another episode of Rise to Liberty. Let's make sure all of my everything is in order. Yes, we are back. Hello. Hopefully everyone had a wonderful Christmas. I hope everyone had a great Christmas. Ours was just wonderful. There's a little old background music. Let's see, from my old opening. There's all sorts of fun stuff on here. I need to start using it more. I don't know why I don't. Anyways, ours was wonderful over here. So hopefully everyone had a wonderful Christmas. And I've got some awesome things to wrap up the year on. So first, I do want to apologize that the show is so late. There were some things going on my side of things that had to get taken care of. Everything's all right, no big deal. But it was just things that just got in the way that I had to take care of. They're taken care of though. They're all good. Sometimes that's just how life works, but I was not going to end this fine evening without doing a show. I promised a show would take place today, so a show will take place today. Just happened to be a lot later than I wanted it to be. So, oh yeah, we're all good over here. Everyone's good. Everyone's taken care of. It was just something that had to get taken care of. Real life happens sometimes, but no, all's well. All's well on this side. Everything's good. Family's happy, healthy. We're all good. So, but like I said, we've got some good things to end the year on. And, I asked a while ago what everyone would like me to cover next as far as a case. So we're not entirely done with the West Memphis 3 yet. However, that case coverage is winding down. One of the ideas I threw out there was the Black Dahlia, and a lot of people, said that was something that they would like me to cover. So, oddly enough, there was some news that broke regarding the Black Dahlia right before Christmas. So I kind of took that as a sign. It's like, oh, this is odd. Out of all the cases I was thinking about covering, boom, there's something in the news about one of the cases that I was thinking of covering. So this must be the one. So tonight we're gonna start. We're gonna start with the news that hit right before Christmas of this year. We'll go through that article, and then if we have time, then I'll hit some of just like the basic a basic overview of the Black Dahlia case. Now, my personal opinion is that the Black Dahlia murder, one of the most famous cold cases in not only American history, but I'll just say world history. I'm pretty sure the case is global at this point. Everything, it is without a doubt one of the most famous cold cases I think ever. Absolutely. This was actually, I remember the very first point when I became interested in true crime, and it was this case. Back in the early 2000s, back when you could actually still see like You could still see crime scene photos relatively easy. Um, Back when the internet was still the Wild West, for lack of a better way to describe it. You can still find these things now, but it's not quite what it was then. Anyways, I remember seeing the crime scene photos for Elizabeth Short or the Black Dahlia. Also, at the same time, there was I was listening to a lot of heavy metal, a lot of underground music and stuff, and still one of my favorite bands was from a band I listened to back then, who had the same name, the Black Dahlia Murder. It's the name of the band. Um, Absolutely phenomenal musicians. Love the band to this day. Great, great music. Um, in my opinion, that is. I'm sure not everyone's gonna like it. I don't plan on playing any, at least tonight. At some point, since we're doing a series on the Black Dahlia, we're gonna have to play some of their music at some point, or at least part of it. Um, However, so it kind of just all worked out. But I remember the exact moment that I became interested in true crime, and it was with the crime scene photos from this case. Um, they still haunt me to this day. Um, in case any, in, in case nobody has ever seen them, I do recommend going to see them. If you can find them. One thing I plan on doing, not only with this case, but every case, something I've been working on this past weekend and everything is some of the upgrades. So with this case, with a lot of cases moving forward, any sort of supporting documentation, or a sources list or any of these things, they will be posted to my Substack. I'm almost right there to where I can just paste everything there and it will be up the same day as these episodes. We're almost there. But I will make sure and gather up all the information regarding the Black Dahlia. At least that's publicly available. Uh, you know, case files, crime scene photos, and I'll find the best of the best. I'll track it all down for everybody. I'll put it into one document. It will go over on my Substack. The point of my Substack, in fact, since we're right here talking about it, is it is supposed to be a companion to the show. It will be able to stand on its own, so those who do not watch the show can also go over there and enjoy the information that's put there without having to watch the show. But those who do watch the show, it will go hand in hand. So it will be a continuation of, or a expanded version of, that sort of thing. So at at some point, it will probably be episode 2 of the Black Dahlia case, where I'll be able to get all of this together. But I want a place for people to be able to go and look at these things if they want to. I don't recommend them for everybody, but my audience is smart enough to know for themselves if that is something that they themselves need to expose themselves to. But you as my audience, I know, are smart enough to be able to decide that for yourself. I don't need to hold your hand through it. But for those who are curious, I do want that there. And I don't want you guys to have to go find somebody else. I would rather you just stick with me. So that's what we're gonna do. It's actually gonna be really cool. The layouts so far are looking good. So we're right on track. Well, actually, we're a little bit behind, or I'm a little bit behind with where I wanted to be. I wanted to be able to launch a lot of this stuff by New Year's, but it will be within the first 2-3 weeks. So, geez, my damn nose. Okay. So let's get into this. Let's get into this story. Let's see here. I'm actually debating. Okay, everyone watching, let me know in the chat. I guess do you guys want me to start with an overview, a basic overview? I have two articles pulled up. The article that I wanted to cover with the show, which is the newest news. And I also have a second article pulled up that's just a basic overview. So let me know in the chat. Do you want me to start with the basic overview, which we will go more in depth at a certain point, but this is just like a skimming. Do you want me to start with the skimming basic info and then get to the new news? Or do you want me to start with the new news? The new news. One in the chat for a basic skim. Two in the chat for the new breaking news that came out before Christmas. So let me know what you guys would like to start with. Let's see here. So there's just a lot of really interesting information with this. Like I said, this is one of those stories. It has, for lack of a better term, scarred me pretty much. It's such a terrible story. The way that it ended for this poor woman, I don't even know what to think of it sometimes, but I do believe, in my opinion, is that it was a ritualistic murder. Now, why? I don't know. I really don't know. Let's see. I'm now a little over. Let's see. It was about 15 years ago is when I was first introduced to this. 15, 16 years ago. Yeah. Wow. It just time warped me for a sec. So yeah, it's about 15 years ago that I was introduced to this story. And in all of that time that I've looked into it, I don't understand why. I don't really get it, other than just the very nature of committing ritual acts to begin with. To cause fear in the community, to gain power in one fashion or another. There's plenty of reasons why, but I still don't quite understand this story. Lots of people don't. All right, so I'm largely seeing two to start with the new news. And I do think that that's kind of the good way to start this. Let's see here. So yeah, I think we will do that. We'll just jump into that. Oh wow. Let's see. Now, there is just a couple of quick facts that I wanted to run through just to kind of give you an idea of the time period we're talking about. So, on January 15th, 1947, a 22-year-old aspiring actress, Elizabeth Short, was found brutally murdered in Los Angeles, with her body cut in half and a ghastly smile carved into her face. So, 1947, right after the war, we're still, this is basically the start of the Cold War. Let's see. All right, I've got it pulled up. So it's a really interesting time period. America is on its way up. We are on our way up, and the other two world superpowers really are kind of taken out at the knees, right? German manufacturing gone. Japanese manufacturing obviously gone. And we also made Hirohito, Hirohudu? I don't know. I can't remember how you pronounce Hirohito. Sorry. Hirohito, we made him surrender in front of the entire nation, which for Japanese culture, that's almost worse than death. And this has never happened before in all of recorded Japanese history. And he surrendered to the United States in front of all of his countrymen. So basically robbed their spirit and their will to fight, basically, which is what we wanted. That actually happened before we dropped the bombs, but hey, whatever. So that happened. We took out Germany. Russia, on the other hand, still communist, still very Soviet. They wanted to take over Berlin. We basically said no, at least not in the way that they wanted to. We also got a large chunk of soldiers. Operation Paperclip came in. So we got a huge chunk of their soldiers, their scientists, the brightest of the bright from Japan and Germany. The Soviet Union and the UK also wanted their own. They did get some. But also the UK, one of the largest reasons why we even entered the war at the time that we did is the UK promised the United States a bunch of patents, a bunch of information, a bunch of gold. So we collected on that. So basically, on the other side of it, we were top dog. We positioned ourselves to be, just that, top dog. It was really kind of fascinating from a tactical standpoint. So it's kind of an interesting time period in the United States. But, this dream that's always been, that's always come out of Hollywood, I think it still happens. I don't know. I'm so far removed from what normal people think about, I guess. But this idea of moving to Hollywood and becoming a star, it was massive back then. It happened a lot. Or, well, the star part didn't. But people moving to Los Angeles, to Hollywood, to go try and be in the movies and go make it in the music industry, or, well, actually, not in the 40s. They wouldn't have done for the music industry, not until the 60s with Laurel Canyon and stuff. But for the movies, that was a massive dream for so many people, thousands and thousands, probably hundreds of thousands of people over a decent period of time. So this time was no different. Yes. Yeah. So, right. At this point, L. Ron Hubbard and Jack Parsons were also running around with each other, which was really interesting. There was a lot of wild stuff going on. The OTO, of course, they come up in this story. Go figure. Yeah, there was just a lot of interesting stuff going on in the late 40s, early 50s in Los Angeles. In fact, I'm going to make sure and star your comment there. So it is a part of this show's record. So this is kind of interesting. So this picture right here that you saw, this is investigators at the scene of the Black Dahlia killing, where the dismembered body of Elizabeth Short was found. Honestly, I think that's one of the best pictures. Plus, that's super high quality. We're going to save that real quick. I've got a Black Dahlia folder going, so might as well save it, huh? Anything super high quality. Okay. This is one of the craziest stories that I have read in a long time. And I can't believe this dropped. So this was December 23rd, 2025. I mean, this is like hot off the presses, right? This is some of the newest news regarding the case. And it fits so perfectly right into Dave McGowan's Program to Kill and Laurel Canyon and all of these things. Like, it just fits into all of these stories so well, which is one of the reasons why I took this kind of as a sign to let's just go ahead and jump into the Black Dahlia case, because, well, let's get into the article and you'll see why. When police questioned Marvin, I believe it's Margolis. Margolis. Yeah, Marvin Margolis, following the murder of Elizabeth Short, who became known as the Black Dahlia. He lied about how well he had known her. The 22-year-old Short had been found mutilated in a weedy lot in South Los Angeles, severed neatly in half, with the detectives in half with what detectives thought was surgical skill. I've seen the pictures, and it's very clearly somebody with some sort of medical knowledge or, butchering knowledge or something. It was very, very clear. Oh my God, JC, good to see you in the chat, bud. Glad to see you here. Margolis was was on the list of suspects. He was a Solon 21-year-old pre-med student at USC, a shell-shocked World War II veteran who had expressed an eagerness to practice surgery. He was, quote, a resentful individual who shows ample evidence of open aggression, end quote, a military psychiatrist had concluded. Where is this? What the fuck? Okay, so just write out, the second paragraph. World War II veteran, so he's in the military. Oh shit. Okay, once again, military. What the fuck? And their psychiatrist talking on his behalf, already talking about him being a resentful individual who shows ample evidence of open aggression. I don't know. Did they program him into having that open aggression? At first, Margolis did not tell detectives that he had lived with Short for 12 days. Lived with her for 12 damn days at a Hollywood Boulevard apartment 3 months before her January 1947 murder. So this man with who is or was in the military, super aggressive, is described as a shell-shocked veteran. So a veteran with PTSD, which God only knows probably has DID. And then he lives with Elizabeth Short for 12 days. 12 days, and he doesn't mention a thing about it. But then he lives with her for 12 days in a Hollywood Boulevard apartment 3 months before she disappears and winds up bisected. Wow. So Margolis later admitted that they had lived together in apartment 7 426 at the Guardian Arms Apartments. But he soon moved to Chicago and changed his name. Chicago, boom. It's just like this whole thing is just filled full of like Program to Kill and MK Ultra triggers and like Eye of the Chicken Hawk triggers. It's, man, who is this person and why haven't we ever heard of him regarding this case before? Well, I mean, anyone who's looked at the list of suspects has heard his name before, but never really thought about any of this. So, moved to Chicago and changed his name, frustrating further attempts to question him. Ah, wow. Among many suspects, a district attorney investigator would note Margulis was, quote, the only pre-medical student who ever lived as a boyfriend with Beth Short. Yeah, for 12 fucking days. Like, what? Let's see. A generation later and 100 miles north. Let's see. Hey, JC. Oh, we've got some X posts here. Let's see. Do me a favor. Tag me in whatever you've posted here. Tag me or send me in a direct message, please. Not that I want to make things more difficult on you. I just can't pull them up here. But yeah, send them in a DM or tag me in them at Rise to Liberty. Let's see here. Jack Parsons, Marjorie Cameron, Dr. Hodel, yeah, L. Ron Hubbard, Marilyn Monroe, Sammy Davis Jr. We're all kicking it around Los Angeles and Hollywood. Well, and don't forget Anton LaVey. Let's not forget Mikey Aquino. There's so many. It's like California, especially Los Angeles, and San Francisco both are just like open air, MK Ultra, cults that are allowed to just like roam free. It's like the craziest thing. Well, and then you got, James Mansfield. Oh, geez. But you've got all of these people just all over the place. And of course, they all knew each other. It's wild. It is wild. Like a demented game of Clue. Yeah, totally. 100%. Yeah, just make sure and tag me in these, and I will definitely check these out. If I can, I will get to them before the end of the show, in fact. So, let's see. So, to continue on, a generation later and hundreds of miles north, a killer who called himself the Zodiac terrorized the San Francisco Bay Area with 5 seemingly random murders from 1968 to 1969, taunting police and media for years with letters and cryptograms. The toughest to decipher was the letter he sent in April 1970 to the San Francisco Chronicle with the words, "My name is," followed by a 13-character string of letters and symbols. It came to be called the Z13 cipher, and its brevity had stymied generations of PhDs and puzzle prodigies. In fact, let's see if we can go find a picture of the Z13 real quick. So, kind of odd that in this completely apparently unrelated case, would the Zodiac show up? I mean, what are the odds? What are the odds? Okay, here's a good picture of it, I believe. Boom. Oh, okay, hold on. Um, let me get one so I can make it bigger for everyone. I can get a better one, is what I'm saying. Hmm. Come on. There we go. Here we go. Perfect. Okay, so I mean, that is just wild. That is so wild. So this is what is known as the Z13 cipher. This is what has basically had all sorts of investigators, PhDs, puzzle prodigies, as this article says, basically running because they haven't been able to figure it out. So who knows? Let's see. Let's get back to the article real quick. This is absolutely fascinating, in my opinion. Let me fix this real quick. So, the Zodiac. The Zodiac case, man, it's a lot to get into, honestly. I've kind of avoided it because it's so much. It's honestly so much. Really complicated case. Especially, yeah, because they never found the person or persons, in my opinion. So let's see. To get into this, so Alex Barber, a 50-year-old West Virginia man who dropped out of high school and taught himself code breaking, now says he has cracked the Zodiac killer's identity. And in the process, he solved the Black Dahlia case as well. It's irrefutable, said Barber. Obsessive, hyper-focused, and cocksure in manner. His memory encyclopedic, and his speech a firehouse of dates, locations, and surprising linkage. The man after my own heart, truly. Also, hello, Desert Rain. Hello, hello. Yes, there was definitely new news, but you are not super far behind, so you kind of made it right in time. James Cameron claims Edward Wayne Edwards is also the Zodiac, and you know what? He very well might. My personal opinion regarding the Zodiac is that it's actually multiple people. I still think Hodel did it. I mean, I was always leaning towards Hodel and multiple other people regarding Zodiac. But I want to see what this guy has, Alex Barber. And in fact, I would love to get him on the show. So if anybody knows how to get a hold of him, feel free to reach out to him and tell him to come on my show or get a hold of me or something. I will get a hold of him. I would love to have him on my show to come talk about this. So, you know, allegedly Dr. Hodel was in a cult of some sort. Alleged by Steve Hodel, his son, in case anyone doesn't know. Then all the other celebrities I listed were into Satanism and the occult as well. Right. So Dr. Hodel has a very strange history, very strange background. He was basically part of, like, he was part of MK Ultra before it was MK Ultra. He was part of, like, back when they were like running ideas that would later become MK Ultra, or part of MK Ultra. He grew up in that. So it was like some super secret, double super secret probation stuff. It's like behind the scenes, nobody knows about, sort of really spooky stuff, is something that he grew up in. Yeah, there's a bunch of weird shit. His bloodline is really, really blue. He's definitely a blue blood for sure. Damn it, where's my mouth? There it is. So yeah, there's some weird things going on with Hodel. We'll definitely dive into him as we get into the Black Dahlia series more and more for sure. Yes, and he definitely was in a cult. I've definitely read of connections with Jack Parsons, which, I mean, if he had any connection with Parsons, that means he had connections with Hubbard. I mean, all of these people ran with each other, right? These are not incredibly large circles. Granted, there are a lot of people in them, but there's not a lot of people running these circles, is what I mean. So even though, there's a lot of people at any one point in time, doesn't mean that, there's so many people that these leaders actually would not know each other, because guess what they did? They all knew each other. But remember also, California is going to have multiple cults doing multiple things, who might all be loosely related to each other, who might be directly linked together, who might be, some might be an offshoot, some might be direct descendants. I mean, there were cults in this area, like, late 1800s. There was all sorts of weird stuff going on, all sorts of magic and rituals, and just, I mean, there was grave digging and body snatching, human trafficking before human trafficking as we know it today was a thing. There was all sorts of just terrible things going on. So none of this is a big surprise. Let's see. Let's keep this going. So Barber has never been a cop. He is not a licensed private eye. Critics have called him overconfident and underqualified. Sounds like my type of person, honestly. Said one, quote, "This guy is a great smooth talker, but it's a lot of empty calories," end quote. Wow. Yeah. I mean, honestly, this guy sounds like a guy that I need to talk to, because, yeah, he sounds like right up my alley. Diagnosed with autism at 12. Yep. Got to talk to him. Barber said he endured schoolyard beatings throughout his childhood in rural Florida. He got his GED, skipped college, and taught himself cryptography, forensics, and computer science. He runs a firm called Cold Case Consultants of America, with victim advocate investors and inherited money. And since 2021, he devoted himself day and night to proving a nexus between what might be the two most infamous unsolved cases in America. Yeah, once again, I do agree that these are, well, it's especially Black Dahlia is definitely one of the most famous cases worldwide ever. Quote, I started running variables based on letter frequency analysis, Barber said. It's my autism. Once I start on something, I have to see it through. The deeper I go, the harder I push. My mind's wired differently. Welcome to the club, dude. I mean, obviously, he's been in the club at least since 12, so still sentiments the same. He became interested in the Bay Area killings when he saw David Fincher's 2007 film Zodiac. He learned that the Z13 cipher is regarded as the holy grail of Zodiac studies. The killer sent it to the newspaper after the head of the American Cryptogram Assembly publicly dared him to put his real name in a code. To attack the problem, Barber used artificial intelligence and generated a list of 71 million possible 13-letter names. Using known details of the Zodiac killer, based on witness description, he cross-checked those names against military, marriage, census, and other public records. Okay. Let's see. Another great picture. Taking that. Oh, really? See, can I open the image? Come on. All right. Well, we'll worry about that later. Oh, come on. Close. Jeez. Man, I don't know if anyone else's internet has been acting weird, but mine sure has. Let's see. This takes me 9 months of working 18 to 20-hour days, he said. I'm starting to kill this onion. I'm starting to eliminate layers. Too tall, too short, wrong race. The candidates narrowed to 185, to 14, and then, he said, to 1. His name found buried in the Z13 code. Marvin Merrill. Who was Marvin Merrill? It was the alias Marvin Margulis, adopted after Short's murder. Weird. It was the name he lived with until his death by cancer in Santa Barbara in July 1993. Wow. 68 years old. Lived to 1993. That's wild. Though his gravestone at Riverside National Cemetery bears the Margulis name. What does it mean? It may take time for anything like expert consensus to emerge, but according to 2 veteran homicide detectives who once served at the LAPD, including the former cold case detective who oversaw the Elizabeth Short investigation, Margulis is probably responsible for both the Short murder and the 5 murders attributed to the Zodiac. That's some pretty heavy duty to that's a pretty heavy duty accusation to just lay at somebody's feet. So that's intense. Let's hit the comments real quick, see what's going on. There are so many bad guys to choose from. Right. Well, and what's kind of sad about it too is the bad guys always get the news. In my opinion, there's just as many good guys too, but we don't hear about them. At least not the way that we hear about the bad guys. It's like it's really easy to remember the bad guys. Just like, people could tell you a million nice things, but one person tells you one bad thing, you're going to remember that one bad thing long before you remember, years and years of people telling you good things. Don't know why, other than the fact that it's just kind of psychologically easier to remember those things. I'm sure there's an explanation for why that works. Something we should look into. Let's see. It's coming up on the anniversary of the murder, January 14th. It's actually the 15th. But yes, you are right. It is coming up on the anniversary. Let's see. So by that point, it will be 2026. So, let's see. Wow. This year, 2026, will actually be the 79th anniversary. Wow. That is wild. 79 years. We're still talking about it. Kind of another reason I thought it was a good idea to probably cover this case. Let's see here. Have you heard Recluse's Stephen Snyder's theory on the Black Dahlia? It involves Hollywood, Catalina Island, the movie Chinatown, David Lynch films, etc. That sounds really familiar. Let me see if I can pull something up real quick. I think so. Let me refresh my memory real quick. If I can't find what I'm looking for, then we'll just move on. Let's see. This sounds really familiar, and so I'm sure I have. I'll say yes, I probably have. Let's see. Black Dahlia. Age. Yeah, let's see. Come on. Yeah, man, my internet is acting weird. Oh, yeah. I do remember this person, yes. I do not remember their theory off the top of my head, but I can confirm, yes, I have heard it. Yeah, that's gonna have to be something we look into. Maybe that's another person we should talk to. Gonna go ahead and star your comment so I can write me a note afterwards. Oh snap! Love me some Murray. Glad to see you. Let's see. Yeah, see, this is kind of me. Like, I know I've heard the theory. Um, Nothing is like really like coming to mind. I mean, I got a lot going on up here though, so it's no surprise. But I can confidently say that I have heard the theory before. This is gonna have to be something I re-familiarize myself with. So, um, let's see. Interesting. Well, I've definitely made myself a note so I can go back and go check and see what Recluse has said and everything. And like I said, maybe this is a good person to go over what he has said and kind of look at this. I mean, if we're going to do a whole series on this and really look at it and give it a an honest look through, then I kind of think we need to bring stuff like this to the table. So either way, we will get to it. See, Mickey Cohen was a Jewish gangster, thus you repeat yourself, um, but was often called Irish Mickey. Only connection I could fathom from the Glasgow grin and that grabbing at straws. I mean, kind of. So it wasn't impossible for that type of physical message to be sent to people outside of Scottish territory. Also, a lot of those gangsters got around back then too. So more good guys though, you know. Yeah, I agree. We need more, but I think we just need to hear more about them. Yep, the smiley. Yep. Yeah, I'm not entirely sold either. Um, I don't know. We are going to look at all the suspects though. So anyways, let's see. So let's see where were we? Marvin Merrill. What a name. What a name. Who was Marvin Merrill? It was the alias Marvin Margulis adopted after Short's murder. It's so weird that he lived with her for 12 days and then just disappeared. Allegedly, a man with a military background who was also speaking to a psychiatrist, somebody who was shell shocked, which back in that time, I mean, somebody could have had DID 100% super easy. And I mean, it would have appeared as though, or it would have appeared as shell shock, never would have known anything about this. I mean, it's just wild. And honestly, I'll tell you right now what I know about this Marvin Merrill character. Compare it side by side to the Jeffrey Dahmer case, and it kind of fits perfectly. Obviously, there's some differences, but nonetheless, it's like he's a person traveled overseas to get military medical training, which is exactly what happened. This person actually went, and saw combat. Dahmer didn't, but nonetheless, They both appeared to have severe mental issues after their time in the military, and then they went on to be involved in all sorts of terrible things afterwards. So, and granted, I'm kind of like simplifying it and breaking it down for, sake of moving the conversation along. However, like, just like list them side by side, Dahmer's time in the military when he was in Germany, and then what you can find about Merrill. It's very, very similar. It's weird. Let's see. So they say Margulis left a complex lattice of hidden clues connecting both cases. Along or among the links they contend is his eerie 1992 sketch of a woman. Yeah, I forgot about this. So there is a sketch of a woman that carries the name Elizabeth in plain writing and the name Zodiac hidden in the shading. Let's see if I can find it. I don't know why it wasn't included in this article. Let's see. Give me just a sec. Let's see. Drawing. See, is this it? Ugh. Stupid. Is it all behind a paywall? Really? Ugh. Man, I can't stand paywalls. This is ridiculous. All right. Wow, that's kind of a dead end. Anyway, so this eerie 1992 sketch of a woman that carries the name Elizabeth in plain writing and the name Zodiac hidden in the shading, but visible with the aid of filters. In my opinion, or this is a quote. So, quote, "In my opinion, these are solved cases," said Rick Jackson, who was a homicide detective for 36 years, both at the LAPD and at the San Mateo County Sheriff's Office. There are too many links with both. There's overwhelming circumstantial evidence he's left breadcrumbs all along. And I agree that there are like an incredible amount of links linking the two. But I mean, linking the same person, I don't know. I still need to see exactly like the information that he has. I'm not even saying it's wrong, but I'm not going to just be like, yeah, totally. I read it in a news article, so therefore, definitely. Yeah, I would love to interview Recluse about this. So people start tagging him, telling him to come on my show, I'll try to reach out. I just followed him on X, so I'll see about getting him on. That'll be really, really interesting. Right? Yeah, we still talk about Jack the Ripper, and apparently apparently he has also been discovered who he was. There was a lot of really interesting things surrounding that. If it's true, who Zach or it's been a long day. If it's true, the person who is most likely Jack the Ripper, based upon DNA evidence. There are connections to the Freemasons, connections to a little country in the Middle East. It starts with an I and ends in a Israel. So, um, there's all sorts of weird connections with that, and we can look at that at another time also. Um, that's funny. That is funny. Hmm. Yeah, we'll definitely be addressing Recluse's work. 'Cause, yeah, it does definitely sound familiar. It's just nothing's coming to mind right this second. A veteran who served in the European theater during World War II would be likely to uh, been aware of the Glasgow Grin. Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. Yes. Yes, they are. I don't know why. I don't know why. Uh, but yeah, well, okay. Part of it is like a level of arrogance, okay? A lot of it is being smarter than other people. And that's why certain, like, if you read the language and stuff, okay, for instance, if you pick up a Order of Nine Angles book, the way that it reads is very condescending to its reader. Um, and it's also kind of like a riddle and a puzzle, in, linguistics. Um, because language is the way to communicate and everything, there's tons of hidden meaning there's tons of hidden meaning in the language itself. And also, this is how you determine or how you find out information regarding these different groups. It's usually through their writing. So, but yeah, you are right. But it's like an arrogant thing. People are, these people want to be, or at least believe that they are smarter than others. Always smarter than others. So, um, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Um, was the boyfriend who ran off after 12 days a Marine by any chance? You know what? I don't know. I couldn't find anything directly. It just said in the military. Um, so I don't know. I was curious of the exact same thing though. If like what branch was this person involved in? Um, yeah, I couldn't find any sort of direct, like, oh, he was in the army or anything. Um, Granted, that was a couple of days ago that I looked. Let's see. Let's also try another outlet. Because I'm curious. I think it does kind of matter exactly what branch they were in, although all branches had their own version of MK Ultra, or their own version of um, just mind control operations in general. So if he was involved in some sort of program like this, kind of doesn't matter. Um, because whatever branch he was in, like he could have been involved no matter what. Right, right. Hello, hello, Hannah Jinx. Yeah, I agree. I believe it was the person that they pointed to, and if it was the person that they pointed to, due to the DNA testing, 100% a Mason, 100%. Um, well, if you can't stay, thank you for popping in for a sec. Catch it on the replay for sure. Um, Also, make it back when you can. There's going to be a great show on Wednesday. Hello, hello. Um, right. Israel wasn't a country not until 1940, what, 48, 45. But the plan for Israel goes back far, far, way far before it was actually established as a country. Um, and I mean, the Jesuits, in my opinion, are the ones that pull the string for Israel, anyway. So, uh, da, 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 James Elroy. I don't, I'm not quite sure who that is. James Elroy. Hmm. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure who that is. You'll have to send me a message or something with something. Um, right, pride. Now I do think that that's one of the most the things that they're most guilty of. But it is, yeah. I guess you could consider it pride. Um, I definitely think pride is like the deadliest of all sins, because there's such thing as deserving pride and undeserving pride, and being prideful in something you have earned is completely fine. Whereas in having pride for nothing is super dangerous and toxic to your soul. But so yeah, I think it probably could be pride because they just view themselves as so much more intelligent as others, or so much more intelligent than others is what I meant. Um, and so because of that, there is this arrogance about them. And yeah, I guess you're right. I guess that could be a pride, a form of pride. If you boil it down to like its essence, arrogance would be pride. So yeah, I think I agree with that. Unless I'm thinking about this wrong. I don't know. Correct me in the chat if I'm wrong. But yeah, that I think I agree with that. Ba, 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 ba. 48. That's right. Yeah, but I mean the plan for Israel goes back so much further than that. Jesus was Italian. Damn, man. I have heard it all. I have heard it all. Especially wow. Okay, dude. I think you just discredited yourself, you know. Oh, James Elroy, right? Huh. Interesting. You're a Jesuit. That would actually kind of explain a lot. Jesus was an Italian, and the Italian soldiers in Rome mocked him and nailed King of the Jews to his cross. Yeah, that is very, very true. Um, yeah, pride and arrogance are different things, but I mean, they all come from a base of something. And so would the would like the core of arrogance be pride? That's what I'm talking about. Like the essence of arrogance, would that be pride? Because everything's going to boil down to like its most basic form. And so therefore is the most basic form of arrogance pride. Um, could pride be boiled down to arrogance, or could arrogance only be boiled down to pride? Meaning like, can you be arrogant without pride? Or yeah, so could you be arrogant without the sin of pride? Or could you or is it that you can't? Okay, I think I'm confused myself here. Okay, can you be arrogant without pride? But can you be prideful without arrogance? I mean, I don't know. So the thing is that these people are arrogant. And the reason they are arrogant is because, and these people, I mean, occultists, Satanists, whatever you want to call them, they are arrogant because of this. They do truly view themselves as more intelligent than others. They, like, when I was a Satanist, I most certainly was always thinking to myself how much smarter I was than everyone. Like, I know I'm a really like insanely smart person. I mean, I've got the IQ test to prove it. But then, back then, I like held that as like a not just as a badge of honor, but like it was like my see, I am better than everyone kind of a thing. Now, I mean, yes, I do like I'm not prideful, but I'm grateful for it, but I also don't view that as I don't view my intelligence as being better than anymore. That's not but yeah, to have arrogance without pride, I don't know if that can exist. They're arrogant and they're whiny. Oh, they are for certainly whiny. For certainly whiny. Right. Well, I think it's pride in something that you haven't earned or something that you don't have control of. So like the immutable characteristics, like this is why like, you know, pride in your skin color. That's a weird thing to have pride in my opinion. To have pride in like your heritage and stuff. I don't think you should like feel shame for like your heritage or anything, but to just have this innate pride in just what you were born as is weird. It's really weird. So like the whole gay pride thing, I think is demonstrably like evil, because it's like, okay, if you are born gay, then why be proud of it? It just is. It's not right or wrong or good or bad. It just is because you were born that way. It's an immutable characteristic that you have no control of. Just like your shoe size, your hair color, your eye color. Um, like it would be like me being proud because I have blue eyes, you know? Like I get a group of people together to celebrate the Blue Eye Club. It's just weird. It's an immutable characteristic that we have no control of, and so I think having pride in something like that is incredibly dangerous. Um, and I'm just using those as an example. You know, that's not the only things that could be dangerous to have pride in. Those are just examples, but having pride in something that you have accomplished, reaching a goal, I think is fine. I think it is okay to be able to do that, but that is a deserving pride. Okay, let's move along in this article a little bit here. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, this is weird. So, in my opinion, these are solved cases, said Rick Jackson, who was a homicide detective for 36 years, both at the LAPD and the San Mateo County Sheriff's Office. There are too many links with both. There's overwhelming circumstantial evidence. He left breadcrumbs all along. In early 2025, Barber presented Jackson with his conclusion. Jackson was skeptical. The era of internet sleuthing has been a proliferation of screwball solutions to unsolved crimes, but he was also intrigued. He tried hard, but could not find obvious flaws in the theory. Right. Although the Zodiac murders appeared random, Jackson believed the condition of Short's body reflected the savagery of an intensely personal fury. She was naked, posed, and severed between the second and third lumbar vertebrae, her face carved with a clown smile. It also reflected anatomical knowledge Magalhaes would have possessed. Jackson said Magalhaes had served as a Navy corpsman. Scott, for those wondering, I don't remember reading that the first time I read this through. So he was in the Navy, which their intelligence apparatus, Navy intelligence, and the Navy version of MK Ultra is literally no joke. It is some hardcore shit. So during the Okinawa campaign, a battlefield on which foxhole surgery included combat knife amputations. Let's see. He wasn't a doctor, but he had done things doctors often do, Jackson said. He had a lot of experience dealing with the human body. Okay, gnarly. Jackson enlisted his former partner, Matisse Robert, who knew the Black Dahlia case intimately as a former detective on the LAPD's cold case unit. In that job, she had been inundated with wild theories from people claiming to have solved the long cold case. Fielding nuts and crack jobs became a time drain. I can only imagine. The LAPD prioritized more solvable cases involving suspects who might be alive to prosecute. You really needed someone on the case full time. That's a big ask for a department that's low on personnel, she said. Somebody like Alex Barber, quote, is exactly who you needed. That's kind of convenient. As their fascination deepened, the retired detectives alerted the crime writer Michael Connolly, who explores the investigation in the just released podcast Killer in the Code. Interesting. I might have to go check that out. There we go. Killer in the Code. Michael Connolly, Killer in the Code. Connolly found Ed Gorgio, a mathematician who served as the chief code maker and code breaker for the National Security Agency, who agreed to check out Barber's solution to the Z13 cipher. That's interesting. Now the NSA is involved. Said that many people have approached him over the years with similar claims, which were easily debunked. All of Alex's work checked out to me, he said. To verify his work, let's see, contacted two other former NSA crypto mathematicians, Patrick Henry, weird, and Rich Wyzanowski. Not only did they endorse the Z13 solution, but Henry discovered another detail, cementing the link between the two unsolved cases. The Zodiac code was generated by the keyword Elizabeth, which is fucking weird. What are the odds of that? You know, what are the fucking odds? Yes, thank you. Thank you for that. More or less. Yeah, I definitely do. Sometimes a curse. So sometimes. I'm only half kidding. I'm only half kidding. See, that's that's what I'm asking. Can you be prideful without being arrogant? Or can yeah, so when you're arrogant, you're always proud, but you can be proud without being arrogant. Can you though? That's my question is so if you can be so every time you're arrogant, you're always proud. So pride is being prideful is a requirement to be arrogant. So pride is a just that is is a requirement for arrogance. So arrogance cannot exist without the base form of pride. But you cannot. So when you are arrogant, you are always proud, but you can be proud without being arrogant. Right. Okay. So you can't be arrogant without being prideful. So while arrogance is not pride in and of itself, arrogance has the essence of pride, of unearned, unjust pride. Good conversation. Good conversation. So what I'm saying by that, whether it is or is not, that's not the conversation I'm looking to get into tonight. The point, so the point of bringing this up, it's a thought experiment. If those people who are correct when they say that you are born gay, okay, because that's the argument, is that you're born gay, you can't change it, this or that. Then if you are born gay, if that is true, that is an immutable characteristic. I'm not bringing up this to have the conversation of gay this or gay that. That's not the point. Because that's a entirely different discussion for a different day. The point of bringing this up is that being gay, if it is true that you were born that way, so from their argument, from their side of the aisle, their logic, that is an immutable characteristic, and therefore you have no right to be prideful of something that you were just born as. So if you want to have the discussion of whether gay is an immutable characteristic or is not an immutable characteristic, that's a discussion for a different day. Not a discussion where we're talking about the Black Dahlia. So I am going to star that, though. So we can gladly have that conversation, but it will be for a different day. No, I disagree with that. I think we need to be able to use words the correct way, and there is more than one way to be prideful. No matter what, there is always more than one way to be proud. I mean, if you have kids, aren't you ever proud when your child accomplishes something? And you should be able to call that what it is. You have pride. There is a just pride in something that somebody earns or achieves. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Not at all. What's the determining factor is, have you earned something? That's why the immutable characteristics is a problem to be prideful in. Like when somebody has pride in their skin color. That's fucking weird. You didn't achieve anything. You didn't overcome anything. You just are. So you have pride in something that just is. Like, I have pride in the fact that the sky is blue. That's fucking weird. That is weird. Now, if I get in a horrible accident, I lose the use of my legs. And then through hard work and physical therapy and whatever else I do to maintain the use of my legs again, and eventually one day I walk after an accident, I have pride in what I achieved. And there is nothing wrong with that, because that's an achievement. That's something you've done. Now, you can also take that and, extend it. It's like, I did one thing once 20 years ago and I'm still prideful. That's also just as dangerous. But to have pride in something you have accomplished, there is nothing wrong with that at all. And that's not what the Bible is discussing. And I'm also not willing to use a different word for that. It would suck to get busted by a cop wearing a bow tie. I completely agree. Completely agree. Ooh, that's a good question. That is a very good question. Kind of makes you wonder where the smiley face symbol came from, doesn't it? I don't know. Maybe I'll ask William Ramsey. William Ramsey will be on the show on Wednesday, so make sure and tune in to that. Yeah, this could be the start of going down the smiley face killer route too. So. Yeah. Totally. Let's see. Semantics are the most important thing on the planet. Semantics literally are what allows you to differentiate between one thing and another. So while anyone wants to throw away semantics, it actually does matter. And on this channel, we will always argue semantics, because semantics are the difference between this and that. And unless we know exactly what we're talking about, and the only way to figure that out is semantics, then we can't have conversations. So semantics may be, semantics are important and always will be important. Was the victim a prostitute? Which victim? Elizabeth? Like, are you asking whether Elizabeth is a prostitute? I don't know. The story has always been that she wasn't. So I'm not 100% sure. I guess she could have been, though. I mean, it wouldn't be that far of a reach. And exactly, I mean, I don't know, maybe she was like the earliest version of like a sugar baby, you know? Who knows? The thing is a lot of her life was incredibly private. The people she hung out with, the people she met, what she did for work, The fact that she was always in and out of jobs, though, kind of leads me to believe like maybe she wasn't quite a prostitute, like having sex for money. Maybe she was a sugar baby, getting men to pay her bills, and she'd like go out on dates with them. It's not that uncommon for women to have done. It is really uncommon or more modern for this practice to be embraced. That's a more modern thing. Right, right. um, so yeah, it's I don't know. I mean, did she exchange sexual favors for money? I think it's highly likely. Um, I think it's likely, especially because of the way she ended up, right? Um, that's my opinion. But there is no 100% guaranteed like she was a prostitute, so therefore, you know, um, it's still up in the air. A lot of her life in LA and surrounding areas are still a huge mystery. Yes, there's a good point right there. Um, really, I did not know this. So anyone that doesn't know, she did have a job, which was one of the ways that the police were able to identify her so quickly. She had a job at Camp Cook, um, the military base Camp Cook. I did not know she was voted Camp Cutie. And let's see, at this time, she would have been like, what, 17? 17, barely 18. So, yeah, weird. Very weird. Let's see. Oh yes, please come back. Like I said, if not, check it on the replay, and if not, the next show will be on Wednesday if you want to catch it live. But either way, always good having you here. I really appreciate it. I would agree. I would agree that she definitely, at the very least, got around. Um, like I said, I think I lean towards Elizabeth Short being like a sugar baby. You know, um, she probably flapped her big doe eyes and showed a little bit of showed a little leg, and because of this, she was able to get guys to pay her bills and stuff. But the bad part about doing that, well, other than the moral and spiritual implications, yeah, you run into some really creepy guys, and sometimes creepy guys like to make sure that you end up in two pieces. You know, it, so I don't know, but that's my interpretation, is that it was she was like a sugar baby, and maybe she did engage in prostitution occasionally, or and I mean, I guess the sugar baby thing is a form of prostitution. um well, no, I guess it is, because you're either a prostitute or you're not a prostitute. It's not a sliding scale. You either are or are not, in my opinion. So yeah, I guess even if it was the sugar baby thing, like that is, it is a prostitution act. Um, well, thank you so much for that. I definitely enjoy the conversations with everyone here. Um, I have enjoyed the conversations very much tonight, and I deeply, deeply appreciate all of you being here. Um, and I appreciate all of you more than you ever know. So thank you all so much. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Principles dictate achievement. Agreed. Semantics are awesome. I completely agree. I think semantics are honestly great, and the fact that like some people want to blow them off. You know, on this channel, I'll just let all of you know. Like, you guys might not like it, but we were always going to argue semantics because that is how we will understand each other, is the semantics. So let's see. Let's push along the article a little bit and get out of here. We're already a lot longer than I wanted to be initially. Let's see. Los Angeles detectives initially considered Margolius. I don't know how to pronounce that last name. Um, a viable suspect in Elizabeth Short's murder, but he had received relatively little attention in the carnival free for all of Black Dahlia literature. Other theories proliferate. The killer was a bellhop, a Skid Row alcoholic, the gangster Bugsy Siegel, the director Orson Welles, a venereal disease doctor. Yeah, I never bought any of those stories. William J. Mann's upcoming Black Dahlia, Murder, Monsters, and Madness in mid-century Hollywood takes Margolis seriously as a suspect. A former Times copy editor Larry Herinch, a longtime student of the case, has already denounced the book as fraud and fakery. That makes me want to buy it right then and there. And regards the Margolis as a killer theory as a waste of time. Okay, well, why? Let's see. Black Dahlia, Murder, Monsters. Let's see. When is this book coming out? We got to find out. Maybe this is a book we should get together and let's see. Maybe we'll do like a book club thing. We'll do a read along. Let's see. a.k.a. Black Dahlia. Murder, Monsters, Murder, and Madness. Okay, it's already out. Cool. It's $31 for the hardcover edition. Oh, it's in pre-order. Okay. Let's see. The book does not come out until January 27th. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to take a screenshot of that. That's going to come home with me at some point. Maybe not for a little bit, but it's coming home at some point. So, Herinch points to an LAPD report that says police interviewed and cleared Margolis along with his sometimes housemate, quote, due to their work and where they were during the time the victim was missing. Okay, so what? Just because the LAPD interviewed these people and cleared them, okay, that's stupid. And also, people can lie on reports. Imagine that. Imagine that. Um, yeah, I need a little bit more than that, dude, to say that this is stupid. But the report does not give details of the supposed alibi, however. And other evidence makes it clear Margulis remained an active suspect even after he relocated to Chicago. In remarks before a grand jury, a prosecutor found it relevant that Margulis had lived with Short not long before her death and noted that as a USC student, he would have dissected a body. A body. Jeez. Roberts, the former cold case detective at the LAPD, said the original investigators erred in assuming that Short was kidnapped soon after she was seen at the Biltmore Hotel in downtown Los Angeles on January 9th, 1947. While dismissing evidence, she had been alive and free for 4 days afterward. That evidence included the account of a policewoman who claimed, at least initially, that on the day before the body's January 15th discovery, she found Short at a downtown bus station sobbing in fear that an ex-boyfriend was stalking her and wanted to kill her. Short also told people the ex-boyfriend she feared had been a Marine. Oh. Oh. Okay. This is interesting. So he was a Marine then, but he was in the Navy? Huh. Okay. A branch which Margulis, as a corpsman, had served with. Right, because he was in the Navy, allegedly. Was in the Navy, so he would have... Oh, wait, so... Okay, now I'm confused. Said earlier he was in the Navy. Now he's had served with the Marines. Like, did he start in the Marines and then go to the Navy? I mean, it's not impossible for people to switch branches. Let's see. Roberts said the mistaken timeline, the assumption that Short's killer had control of her for a whole week, permitted Margulis to peddle a convincing alibi. Quote, he was in the top 10 suspects in the DA file, Roberts said. He got pushed to the back because of the timeline, but he could not be ruled out, she said. And then he vanished. The initial investigation uncovered evidence of Margulis' psychological instability. Lieutenant Frank Jameson, who worked at the district attorney's investigative unit, studied his military records. He learned that Margulis had seen immense carnage in the Navy Medical Corps. Okay, so he was in the Navy and was among the first wave of troops landing on Okinawa in April 1945. So yeah, he saw some shit. He saw some real shit, some heavy duty shit, like some of the craziest shit. Let's see. Man, I would love to get my hands on those medical record or the military records, though. 3 months later, Margulis was diagnosed with tremulousness, recurring battle dreams, tiredness, which is chronic and intermittent, startled reactions, and periods of depressions. According to Jameson's May 1950 summary of the records, the Navy had thwarted Margulis's ambition to be a surgeon. He desired operation room technique, which was never granted to him. And this is one of the underlying bases for his resentment and disgust, Jameson wrote. Because of his mental trauma, the Navy discharged him with a 50% disability. He seemed to suggest that he would kill whoever tried to send him to war again. The next time there is a war, two of us are not going. The one who comes after me and myself, he told a military psychiatrist. In August 1945, after the war, Margulis was back in Chicago, his hometown. He posed, smiling with his battle ribbons and a rifle for a glowing feature story in the Chicago Garfieldian newspaper, which said he had cared for the wounded as a pharmacist mate during the war. Professionally, Margulis planned to be a surgeon, the article said. He never became a doctor. After dropping out of USC, he moved between several states and plied many trades, working as a builder, architect, and portrait painter. He married twice and had 4 kids. He seemed to relish attention, and in 1961, he was smiling again as the subject of another glowing feature story, this time in the Wellington Daily News in Kansas. He was now calling himself Skip Merrill. Weird. The article described him as an artist and an intellectual who hoped to bring artistic culture to Kansas. He exaggerated his service record, saying he was a pilot with the Flying Tigers during the war and claimed to have studied art under Salvador Dali at USC. Well, the fact that he keeps changing his name kind of is spooky and glowy. Kind of lends to the possibility of maybe he was a Fed or at least working for the Feds, you know. Later in California, he ran a restaurant. Let's see, worked as an engineer. In the early 70s, he ran Bucksavers Automotive Repair and Parts Supply in Oceanside. Let's see, got a 30-day jail term. Let's see, Margulis' interest in art proved critical in catching him. Interesting, said Barber, the amateur sleuth. Barber approached Margulis' son, Roark Merrill. What is up with the names in this family? With the ruse that he was with the ruse that he was researching his father's World War II service, but soon revealed his interest in the Black Dahlia case. Merrill, it turned out, had inherited a peculiar drawing from his father and kept it on his own office wall. His father had sketched it as cancer was killing him. Would Barber care to see it? The sketch, called Elizabeth, depicts a woman who is peering with one eye through a curtain of hair that hangs over her face. She is naked from the waist up. Her lower half is not visible, as if cut off above the navel. One of the nipples appears to be severed. The torso bears a series of marks that might be stab wounds amid an area of shading that suggests blood. It is signed Marty Merrill, 92, reflecting another alias Margulis had. To Barber's team, the similarities it bears to Short's bisected and mutilated body are hard to ignore, suggesting firsthand knowledge of the killing, making this claim hard to prove. Graphic photos of her corpse went public as early as the mid 1980s. In Kenneth Anger's book, Hollywood Babylon 2, which I think was mentioned earlier, I think by Scott, could be wrong. Let's see. Because Margulis died in 1993, Barber and the two retired detectives view the drawing as kind of a deathbed confession to Short's murder. And because Zodiac appears to be hidden in the shading, they also see it as a confession to the Zodiac crimes. Although the Times has reviewed an image of the sketch, Roark Merrill, when contacted, declined to grant permission for the image to be published and also declined to comment. I mean, why would you decline for that to be published? That's weird. Barber also believes he has found the so-called murder room that has eluded investigators for nearly 80 years. The place Short was killed, drained of blood, and cut in half. He thinks was at 2615 Santa Fe Avenue in Compton, a cluster of, standalone bungalows and one of the few area motels in 1947 that had a bathtub. On the night before the killing, newspaper accounts say a nervous young man had been driving between motels in the area, desperately seeking a room with a bathtub and claiming his wife needed it. At the time, the Compton bungalow complex was called, get the fuck out of here, the Zodiac Motel. A fact Barber discovered by using AI to unearth a newspaper ad. He thinks it inspired the name the Bay Area killer called himself. What the fuck, dude? That was the key to where she was murdered, as well as his future moniker, Barber said. Okay, come on, scroll down. Roberts, the former cold case detective, said the LAPD had been made aware of the new findings, but the case is not one of the department's priorities. It's not burning. It's not a burning thing on their radar right now, Roberts said. I don't think the LAPD will ever take a position and say it's solved. I agree. I don't think that they will ever, make a determination one way or another and say, yeah, this is absolutely solved. No, it's not, whatever. But man, the Zodiac Hotel, that is wild right there. Not even sure what to say about that, honestly. I will say I do plan on trying to reach out and get this guy on the show. This is just too good. It's just far too good. Let's see. Let me look that up real quick. And Recluse. I'm definitely going to reach out to him and see if we can get him on. Let's see. Hollywood. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Check that out. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's, it's got to be a book coming home at some point. Okay. All right. So I think we're going to end it there for tonight. I think it is a good place to end it. I think, like I said, this is a good jumping off point. You know, I'm just not even quite sure what to say about all of this. It makes sense to me. You know, it totally makes sense to me. Now I'm not saying that this is what it is, but I think we dive into it further. I think we definitely dive into it further. Yes, of course, I will gladly provide a link to the article. I will put that in the episode description. In fact, I'll throw it in the chat too. So it is behind a paywall because of, you know, Los Angeles Times. Let's see, here is the article. But I made sure to archive it so you could get past the paywall and everything. So there it is. It will be in the episode description as well. So let's see. Let me make sure and send this to myself so I don't forget. But holy hell, man, that, like, if anyone could pin Merrill or Margulis, however the hell you pronounce that last name, could pin him being at this hotel, the Zodiac Hotel, like right before her murders, then, man, you might have a smoking gun, you know? Like, that is intense. That is really intense. Anyways, so especially because we have the 79th anniversary of we have the 79th anniversary of the Black Dahlia murder coming up. I figured that plus all these other things, I kept seeing this story pop up and many other things coming along, that it was a good idea to start covering this story. So here we are. We have started covering this story. So consider this episode 1 along many other series that we are currently working on. I want to, you know, keep things interesting, keep things moving and flowing and everything. And this just seemed like a perfect jumping off point today. So we will come back and touch on the Black Dahlia, especially as things develop or anything. We'll go back, we'll go run through the whole thing. It's going to be great. Honestly, I'm really excited to dive into this case. And things are going to be super, super awesome. Let's see. So, on that, let's see. Tinfoil Tigress, good to see you in the chat. Yes, you are late. We are getting ready to wrap up. I actually went a lot longer than I planned on going. But yes, definitely check out the replay. But good to see you in the chat. Now, for anyone who's interested, the next show will be Wednesday. You'll have to wait on a exact time, but Wednesday is going to be a very, very special show. It is the last interview of the year, and it will be with William Ramsey. So I am having him on part 2 of our 3-part West Memphis 3 series that him and I are doing. So we will be discussing the West Memphis 3 case in detail, and we will be discussing specifically Aleister Crowley and the occult connections and all of these things. It will be a continuation of the Satanic Panic is Real series. It just worked out perfectly as far as the timing goes. So be on the lookout for that. Typically, normally, shows are 5:30 p.m. Mountain, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, but I believe we're going a little bit early that day. We're doing a little bit early that day, and then I will also be live later in that evening over on JJ's channel. So he is doing a end of the year wrap up. So there will be 2 episodes you will be able to catch me on that day. So keep an eye out for that. And other than that, I think that's pretty much it, other than the fact that you can always head on over to you can go over to my master link, which is allmylinks.com/rise to liberty. You can go check out all my main platforms: Twitter, Substack, Telegram, YouTube, Rumble. You can also head on over to the store, risetoliberty.store. In fact, let's just click on that right now. This is what comes up. In fact, if you head on over there right now and go pick up some merch, you can use promo code CONTROL for 15% off your order. So, and this is only going to last until about mid-January. So about 2 weeks into January, that's when the 15% off code is going to disappear. But we've got this new American mind control design I just dropped. You can go pick this up in a poster. There's a couple different t-shirts. Come on, show the fine people the different colors. Yeah, you can get different colors for the design. This is the poster. Let's see. It's a 18-inch by 24-inch poster. So you can go check that out for $20. Like I said, use promo code CONTROL at checkout to get 15% off your entire order. But we've got t-shirts. I tried to get some joggers. It just couldn't happen, unfortunately. I got 2 different t-shirts, 2 different price points. I know it's only a couple of bucks, but try to get them as low as possible. I also have some a baby onesie for anyone who's interested in that. Pullover hoodies, female cut t-shirts. Now, I know not all female t-shirts are super comfortable, so I got a more relaxed fit one. We also have zip-up hoodies, black coffee mugs I was super excited about, long sleeve t-shirts. There's multiple colors, regular t-shirts, all sorts of things. Now, can't get the water bottle. That's out. They do not supply it anymore, unfortunately. But yeah, go check this out. Otherwise, go check out giving a donation. My channel, my program, everything is 100% fan funded, viewer funded. I do not take donations or money from, big organizations. Strictly independent. It's just you and me, guys. That's it. That's all. So I could definitely use as much support and help as possible. This is how we keep things independent. This is how we do it. However, I do know that times are tough, and I do know that not everyone can give, you know, can give financially, and that's okay. The very fact that you're here listening to this is it does mean the world to me. But if you can't give a financial donation or whatever, the best thing you can do is hit the like, share, subscribe, follow, um, clip up the show, just give me support. Do all of these things, do whatever you want. Just make sure that people can find me. So, link back to me if you splice up the show and, make some clips or whatever. Like I said, just make sure that they can find me, make sure my branding's on there. But yeah, these are the things. Leave comments. Our big tech overlords hate channels like mine growing, but by doing these things, the like, share, follow, subscribe, all of these things, that shows the platforms that people want it, and it will send it out to more people. It's free. It takes just a few moments of your time, and it's honestly one of the best ways to help. So, on that note, like I said, I hope everyone had a wonderful Christmas. Thank you all so much again for tuning in. The next show will be on Wednesday. Right after that, it will be this coming Friday. So that's the schedule for this week. And until next time, stay free, my friends. Oops, wrong ending.